And action. Can you see me? Kind of. It's really gloomy outside because it's been raining all day, which is why I have to bring out the ring light. So am I wonky? I can't tell. What's the background look like? Are we wonk? We might be. So if we are, I'm sorry. Maybe should I fix it? I'll just hold on. Maybe now I'm wonky. I can't tell. Oh man, I popped off a nail. Dang it. I don't know if I made it worse or fixed it. I can't really tell, so we're just gonna leave it. And I popped off a nail, so great. This video is off to a great start. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Renee. For those of you that are new here, hey, how you doing? How's your day been? So today I figured I'd talk about something a little bit different. I want to talk about mental health, and that's not something I've ever really discussed openly with a lot of people in my personal life. So I felt like, why not talk about it online with a whole bunch of strangers, you know? But today I want to talk about my experience with mental health and how I deal with mental health. So I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. My mental health and my experiences. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, basically I want to start a series and I want to call it Let's Talk Mental. Really quickly, I didn't like how I explained what I wanted the series to be about on here, so I'm going to explain it now. The Let's Talk Mental series, it's going to go into details of certain mental illnesses and how people deal with them during their daily lives, what do they feel, and all that stuff. So it's not necessarily going to be me giving you advice, but it's going to be more about discussing with one another on how people go through different trials within their daily lives, if that makes any sense. But that's kind of what I want the series to be about. I just want it to feel inclusive so that other people can see that everyone goes through things and that you're not the only one, because I know what it's like to think you're the only one that goes through it. But yeah. I do believe that God gives his strongest warriors their strongest battles. What I was trying to say, but I couldn't say, is that God saves his greatest battles for his strongest warriors. Continuing. I do believe there's a reason why I go through things I go through, and I know that God has used me to be one of his warriors, to be able to be his messenger. Me going through this sucks. Don't get me wrong, it does suck, but I know that there is a greater purpose for it, and I know that now, which is coincidentally why I'm here today, because you know God's placed it on my heart to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it. And the reason why I felt like it was time for me to talk about it is because of my little friend called COVID. COVID-19 has taken a toll on my brain. It has taken a toll in how I think, what I do. I wanted to come on here and talk about it because sometimes I tell myself that I'm the only one that goes through this and I'm the only one that's not normal. I had all this extra stress and pressure on myself, and I just feel like, no, I'm not the only one that goes through this. I'm not the only one that thinks these things. You know, nobody's normal. So whatever. And I just feel like I'd rather talk about it than bubble it all up in and hold it in and then just explode. My experience with COVID has not been fun. What's funny is I'm actually in quarantine because there's a chance I may have it, and although I'm praying that it's just like a cold and nothing more, I have had worse days. I think now, if anything, it's not really as bad as it was before. Like, I had really intense migraines. I'm short of breath. I still have a runny nose, a cough. I get dizzy sometimes. I don't really know if that's like a symptom. What else? I do get nauseous. There's like different things, but it's not been anything that's been too severe, and I'm so thankful for that. Okay, I'm just gonna keep popping in because I'm keeping you like entertained. Anywho, so I don't think I really clarified that I have asthma, so that was my big thing, was wondering if it was going to get really bad to the point where I couldn't breathe, therefore I had to go to the hospital, yada yada yada. But thank God now it's a lot better. Again, I don't know if I have corona. It's just something like that's still up in the air until I get my results. But I just wanted to clarify that because I don't know if I do. I'm praying it's just a cold, because it is a cold. I'm telling myself it's a cold. And yeah. But again, I'm just praying it's like a cold, really bad allergies, anything but COVID. And if it is COVID, then I thank God, because I know there have been tons of people who have gotten it so much worse and a lot of people who have passed. So I'm nothing but grateful if this is all I get. And if it's not COVID, again, grateful. But how I've been dealing with it, it's been really hard for me because I am always in my head, and that's the problem that I have. I overthink things. I'm a perfectionist. I suffer from depression. I have for 15 years. I was like 9ish. That's just kind of like a little like rough estimate. But for me, I'm gonna say like around the age of 7, 8, 9. That's another story for another time, so we're not gonna get into that. I do not know if I have OCD. And she's back with the crazy hair. So I didn't really explain what I was talking about here too much, but basically I'm not saying that I have OCD because I've never actually been tested to see if that's something that I suffer from. So I'm just gonna call them like rituals. I do certain things in multiples, always in threes, and if I don't do something 3 times, I don't feel satisfied. Therefore, I feel like I'm gonna die, or my mom's gonna die, or something bad's gonna happen. So like one of the things could be I have to wash my hands 3 times for a certain amount of time because I still don't feel like they're clean, or I have to pull the drawer 3 times, or I have to lock my car 3 times. So it's little things like that. And basically I just have to do these things like religiously. And the reason why I don't really say that it's OCD is because it isn't something that is every day. It's maybe like moments when I'm most vulnerable is when I find it happening. Like something gets triggered in my brain, and then that's when I'm like, I need to do things a certain amount of time. So it's usually when I find myself in a moment of weakness is when this action comes on. So I don't really know what you would call it. So like I said, I'm just going to call it rituals, like things I do for a certain amount of times at certain moments in time. Right? Okay, back to the video. I've been getting a lot of like anxiety, panic attacks recently where I just feel like I can't control anything, and it sucks. It really does suck. I can't tell you how many times at work I've gone to the restroom and like taken off my sweater and my bra and my shirt, and I've just like in a stall cried my eyes out because I can't breathe. I can't control the situation. I feel like everything is just slipping from under me, and then I have to like collect myself and come out of the restroom and just be like nothing happened. And then the newest thing would probably be like germs. I'm not saying I'm a germaphobe. I'm not, because that's never been anything I've had to like deal with, but recently like I feel so dirty all the time, especially at work when I'm exposed to people that I don't know if they wash their hands. I don't know if they're social distancing. I don't know if they're wearing a mask. I don't know if they've used hand sanitizer. I don't know if they have gloves on when they're touching doors. Then they come to my desk and touch my stapler, or take a pen, or put their hands on my desk and lean, and I just see germs all over my desk, and then I see germs crawling all on top of me, and then I feel disgusting, and I feel like I want to rip my skin off because of how dirty I feel, which then causes a panic attack. And then that's why I'm in the restroom crying, because I'm like dirty and I don't know what to do. So how has COVID been treating you? Because COVID's been doing me real dirty. It sucks. It's been triggering a lot of things. Like yesterday was Father's Day, and I have been quarantining, obviously, so I've been staying away from my family, and I've been in my room for these past couple of days, and I've been going insane, don't get me wrong. Like I showered, got ready, I did my makeup, for then me to only realize like you can't even go down there. So I'm in my room watching TV on social media, but I'm listening to laughter downstairs, and I just started crying because I felt so alone and so like unwanted. Like I can't be down there because, you know, I could get them sick, and then you feel isolated. Like people look at you like, get away, you're sick, you're infected. And I don't even know if I'm really sick with COVID. So it's really hard because it just, honestly, this illness, this virus makes you feel alone. Like that's the ugly part. The ugly part of this virus is that it makes you feel like you are alone. And like, it's just horrible. I've been rambling for quite some time, so I'm gonna get to my point. I did make some notes. Looks like this, my little handy dandy notebook, and it's basically just gonna go over key points of what I want to discuss, because I tend to ramble a lot and I tend to go off on like tangents. So what I wrote on my notes is just things that I've done that have helped me out during this time, and just other times in general, like what I do to kind of get out of my head, because again, like I've said before, I get in my head a lot. So if I'm looking down, I'm just reading the note and then I'll look right back up, I promise. So the first big thing for me is how I have been managing coronavirus, and the very first thing on my list is I have been trying to avoid excessive exposure to media. That's like news outlets and social media, but more specifically news outlets, because for quite some time I found myself for about 3 months straight, like February time and forward, just as soon as I came home from work, it was the news until I fell asleep. And then on my phone, the news. And then when I went to work, everybody wanted to talk about coronavirus. And I got so tired, and I was becoming so obsessed with what's the count today, what's this, like how many people have died, how is New York doing, how is Washington doing. It just got really unhealthy, and I found that I was in a more toxic state of mind during that time, because I was so focused on what was going on and these precautions and trying to fight people for damn toilet paper and like all of these things, that I just was going crazy, and I was like, don't touch me, and I was like a little like hermit crab just wanting to be in my shell. So the first thing I did was avoid excessive exposure to social media. Like, I cannot tell you how much, since I stopped like constantly watching the news, how much it has helped me kind of like regain a healthier state of mind, connect with loved ones. I tend to isolate myself when I start going through a season of depression, so I tend to stop getting in contact with all of my friends. I don't really FaceTime. People text me, I don't reply, I don't answer calls. I just kind of stay in my bed and just like watch TV, and that's really it. So I kind of go through like a numbing phase. So when I started getting very anxious and like kind of like I can't do anything for myself, I started to isolate myself. So I forced myself to reach out, whether that just be, hey, how are you doing, thinking of you, miss you, love you, or send like a game, friggin' pool or something, just anything to kind of keep me involved with the outer world, because I didn't want to allow myself to get into a dark spot for something that I have no control over. So I would definitely recommend to constantly stay connected to your loved ones, because you may not realize if they're going through something similar themselves. So it's really important to kind of be there for each other and love one another. My third tip that I did was practice self-care. And by self-care, I have, you ready for my list? Be gentle with your feelings. That is key, because I am not gentle with my feelings. I'm like, why can't I just be normal? Why do I have to think like this? Why am I like this? And then I kind of grew up and I realized, okay, you're just gonna be a baby with your feelings, so be gentle with yourself. Like, it is okay that you think this. It is okay that you're feeling this, but don't allow that to overcome your entire life, and don't allow that to overpower who you are, because I had to remind myself who I am and whose daughter I was, and I was like, no ma'am, put that crown on and keep on going. My second thing for self-care was to breathe. So I have to allow myself to physically like breathe. Like, do not let things get too out of control. And for me, because I don't really suffer, like, I'm not somebody who constantly has anxiety attacks and constantly has panic attacks. For me, it's more my depression. I allow myself to breathe before I escalate and let myself have a panic attack, because I'm like thinking. So breathing and calming myself down is really important. Journal your feelings. I cannot tell you, there are times when I just cannot say what I have to say, So I need to write it down, whether that be make a note on my phone, type it out on my laptop, write it down on a sticky note, on a napkin, or in a journal. Like, just write down what you're feeling so you can get it out. 'Cause sometimes that's all you need, is just to release what it is that you're feeling. And I'm losing my voice again. Water break. The next one is drink water. Yes, ma'am, drink water, because drinking water helps me, like, calm down. Is that weird? Probably not, but you know. My last tip for self-care is cry, cry, cry. Now, I didn't cry for about like 3-4 years because I was just a mean bean, and I was like emotionless. So now I am like overly excessive when it comes to my emotions. So cry. Like, if you need to cry because you cannot handle it, you cry. And if anybody tells you that, why are you crying? There's people that are suffering. You do not need that in your life, because not everybody's going to understand what it is to have mental health. Oh, I can't. But I'm not. This is another conversation too. Yeah, so cry. Cry if you need to cry, because it is okay for you to cry. God let us cry for a reason, so you're going to cry. And if anybody has a problem with it, tell them to come talk to me. Thanks. By the way, I got tissues on deck if you need to cry. And I got a shoulder. So you can cry on my shoulder and we'll cry together and just have moles everywhere. Well, maybe not right now because I might be sick, but no, I'm not sick. I'm not sick. I'm not going to speak that into existence. I'm not sick. I got a cold, if you don't mind a cold, but other than that, you can cry on my shoulder any day, babe. My last thing on how I manage COVID, corona, whatever, is focus on yourself, especially that beautiful brain of yours. And what that means is you put yourself first. You put your feelings first. You know, if there's someone, like, focus on your needs. Like, what do you want during this time? What do you need to physically be okay? And if there's anyone holding you back or being toxic, take them away out of your life, because you do not need that. I have learned the hard way that I cannot deal with people that are toxic. I cannot have people that are going to be bringing me down, because I am my worst enemy. I bring myself down daily. To have somebody else tell me like what I'm feeling is not okay, or what I'm feeling is overly dramatic, or isn't going to support me and isn't going to be a good like a system for me, that's not needed. So focus on what you need and focus on what you want in life. Unlike, I don't know how else to say it besides that. Put yourself first. Put yourself first, babe. With that being said, I am done rambling, because I have been rambling for a hot minute, and my battery is already flashing because it's gonna die. What's funny is that my phone died, and my camera died, and I should have just been filming it on my phone, if I'm being honest. If you enjoyed that video, then please give it a big fat thumbs up. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't be afraid to message me, like DM me if you want to talk, because I would love to talk to some of you who are going through things, because we got to be here for each other, you know, especially during this time. It's a little sucky, so don't be afraid to message me. My leg's asleep, which is why I'm like facing this way. This weather got me feeling some type of way. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, besos. Bye. Oh, my foot's asleep. Oh my goodness.